What is up, my fellow meatheads? This is honestly probably the most excited I've been, probably to bring you any content at any point in time. So the goal of this is really to give you the best information, the most complete foundation, and whole just framework of everything you could ever need to know for muscle building. And as you guys know, if you've been following me for a minute, you're here, you probably have. I'm not very concise. You know, it seems like, why does this guy do such long videos? Why does he write out so much stuff? It's not for the sake of being wordy, it's for the sake of being accurate. And when you take things from on paper stuff and even principles and you apply them to people, and how many different types of people are there, and how many different goals, and how many different stages of their journey, there's no nice, neat answer that I can package up and sell you for $19.95. Here's the one thing, the one workout, the one exercise. I've never been able to do that. It would probably be a much better business model, but it's just not the way that I do things. And again, I can't help it. The longer I've been training, the longer I've accumulated information from myself, to when I started to make it a profession, to what I've seen with other coaches, to what I've seen with so many different bodies and so many different athletes. I feel like I would be doing anyone a disservice by not doing my best to paint a complete picture of what it takes. And so hopefully you guys have gotten a feel from that on the site. There's so many videos and sections and all sorts of stuff that give you hopefully a lot of information that has helped you with so far to get a better picture of what it takes to build muscle, of how to kind of place things better. But it's lacked direction. It's lacked, really just this process and this order to go in where we're really building something. So I will tell you with complete honesty, this is the longest I have ever taken for content planning. So as you will see, there are well over 100 videos, and that's not going to be the end. There'll be more added for sure by the time we're done with this. And the reason that it's taken me so long is I really want to help build a foundation. So step by step, here's the first bricks, the next bricks. And again, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to make a lot of sense. And so it's going to be the things that you need to know first. And then slowly I'm going to try and build on something after that. And the goal of all of this is just to give you the most complete picture possible. I'm going to make a joke, and I've got videos later on down the road that kind of play on this. But if you're not familiar with the Matrix, look up the reference. I'm going to give you guys the red pill. So I really want to kind of, lift the veil. There's a lot in the industry. There's people that kind of sit up on their throne of being an expert, and we'll talk about some complicated concepts with some mystery as if they're holding the secrets or the keys and all that kind of stuff. And so it's hard for people to get their head wrapped around. Is this better? Is this right? Is this wrong? What's the best? Why is he saying this? Why is he saying that? And so I want you guys to just look at it completely differently. I want to lift the veil. I want to get you out of the matrix. That's the red pill analogy if you don't get it. But I want you to be able to see everything in a way that you've never seen it before. I want you to look at exercise differently. I want you to look at training differently. Every little component, I want you to understand exactly what that is, and where it sits or where it lies. And again, you'll find out the reoccurring theme you'll find with a lot of things is things aren't right or wrong. Again, I made the analogy, if you've got a toolbox and you're looking at a hammer or you're looking at a screwdriver, some people argue about which one's better. Some people argue about the brand of screwdriver that's better. And in reality, someone that's a skilled practitioner, someone that's a skilled carpenter, handyman, whatever in this analogy, would never look at tools that way ever. They just realize there's different tools and there's different things that may have different jobs or applied differently or be appreciated or enjoyed by a different person. So that's what I really want you guys to look at. There's big mistakes and there's lots of lies in the industry that just play on human nature. People always want to tell you there's right and wrong. People want to tell you there's black and white. People want to create their teams. And again, a lot of coaches feed into that. That's human nature. It's easier for that, right? It's easier for me to look at something and for me to give you a post that's 2 sentences wrong. It says this is right and this is wrong. It's harder. It's not as easy for me to give you the complete picture, to really give you the context, to really give you the whole principle that something is built upon, and then give you the multiple applications and how it could be received differently. Because there's a tool, but then all these tools as a coach, as an individual, they have to be communicated to you and they have to be adhered to by you. And when we go through the filter of communication, when we go through the filter of everything that impacts adherence, you'll find out nothing is like that. Teams don't exist except in overly emotional people's minds. They don't exist in the reality of what changes your body. So I don't want you looking at things as right or wrong or black and white. I want you to be on team, no team. Is that right? Now I'm just kind of stuck in a paradox. Now I don't know what to do. I just said that. But that's the goal. So starting with, You'll see there's hopefully the order and the progression of what you can see for all the videos to come. There's very, very specific reasons I picked this order. Some of the stuff in the middle, I just put it in the place I thought made the most sense. But I really want you to build something. You know, if you're going to see some more advanced stuff down the road when we talk about contest prep and things like that and advanced techniques, you know, if you don't have the foundation of things right, the foundation of principles, the foundation of knowledge, the foundation of actually adherence and application, then what the hell does something as advanced as BFR matter or occlusion training? What does that matter? What does this one very specific tool matter if you don't have the foundation where that actually might make sense or be applied to someone? So there's a direction to all of this. I'm going to hopefully brick by brick lay a foundation for you. So when it's all said and done, you can look at anything and understand, well, it doesn't make sense to focus on that if I haven't done this, or I don't know how to place that because I skipped these things. So I really want to do the best that I can to build a foundation for you that once it's all said and done, once you can kind of sit back and look at it, like I said, it's going to be like I've taken you out of the matrix and you're going to be looking at things differently than hopefully most other people are. And then there's going to be a reoccurring thing that I give you guys. You're going to hear me coming back and saying it over and over. It's got an entire video. I'm going to give you the ability to manage expectations. And I say this as a coach. I always tell coaches first and foremost, your number one job is to manage expectations. Or you as an individual, if you are going to make a decision, that's what this all comes down to. You're going to make a nutrition decision, a gym decision, a recovery decision. It's not so much about knowing, you know, is this good? Is it bad? Is it right? Is it wrong? Should I or shouldn't I? It's about knowing the outcome. Realistically, what's the outcome going to be? And manage that expectation. If I do this, this will happen. Not right, not wrong. And again, how those could be different from person to person. And again, when you manage expectations, you could technically do something on paper that's wrong, but it could be completely right with you if you know the expectation that's going to happen with it. And I just want to speak, the last two things are a little bit about presenting you the position that I'm in, giving you this information and giving you this knowledge. I hate to use the word expert, but my expertise, there is a reason hopefully that you're paying me money. You just didn't randomly pick me because of my haircut and my beard. But my expertise comes from transparency. So I always try and give 100% full disclosure. You know, that's why there's a certification review on the site. That's why you're not going to have too many videos that I go through that don't reference where I learned something, someone I learned it from, another coach, another athlete. Because again, if I have expertise, it wants to come from transparency. So you know personally my journey, how long I've been training, what I have done in the trenches before I ever did this professionally, what I started to do when I did this professionally and was still in the trenches. Stuff I learned from all the different demographics I've worked with, stuff I've learned from other coaches, stuff I've learned from all the athletes I've worked with. And again, I want to be fully transparent with you with all of that. When I'm speaking about principles or I'm speaking about something remotely complex like mechanics or something that is one of my areas that I have a little bit more interest, I'm going to give you the borders and the ends of my knowledge. I'm going to give you something that a lot of people are unwilling to do. I don't want to pretend that I have all the answers. If I'm giving you knowledge right to here, I'll be the first to tell you it's because I don't have that next level. There's some things when we get into nutrition or supplementation, I'm going to give you what I have seen, the principles that it's built upon, the results I've seen it produce, but I'm not going to pretend to have a PhD in biochemistry or to be a nutritionist or anything like that. So again, I hate that a lot of educators and experts kind of sit back. Again, I say they're on their throne. It's the, you know, this mystery of they have all the answers, they have all the secrets, and just sometimes leave you with words of, oh, well, this is because of that, and that's the end, because they said something complicated or principle, and they know that you don't know what it means because they might not know what it means either. And then all this really comes down to, you know, if I have things or if I have principles, I have all this stuff, my number one filter. So again, if I have an area of expertise, the thing that I try and do with every single thing that I give you guys is it all goes through the filter of what does this actually mean when it comes down to making decisions. First and foremost, gym decisions, but also some of the other things we'll talk about with nutrition, with recovery, with adherence, all that kind of stuff. If I can't put things through the filter of what does it actually matter for a gym decision, then it doesn't get into my knowledge that's passed on to you guys. I may occasionally read a study or see something obscure, something very exacting, but if I actually haven't seen it, you know, go through the filter of what actually decisions do I make in the gym, and then most importantly, what results have I seen produced by those gym decisions, then it's not worth wasting our time on. So that's my filter for you. If I have an area of expertise, again, anything that I've been exposed to, that I've been lucky enough to learn from other experts, from other people, it's been filtered through my own in the trenches experience, having trained consistently for over 20 years, and then filtered through what I've seen with the many coaches, the many athletes, the many normal people that I've worked with, as far as what actually produces results. Because that's how we stay out of the rabbit hole. I have all the respect in the world for people that are the research people, the peer-reviewed people, but that's not the group that I am in. I like that information. I like to take it. I like to look at it. I like to analyze it. It's a small drop in the bucket of all the big pieces that make up the ocean of knowledge. Again, if an ocean's in a bucket, maybe that analogy didn't work, but you get the idea. And then all that as well too, you know, all my stuff, and the last thing I'll say is this all goes to the balance of, again, of we're not working with robots. If you're a coach, you're not training robots. If you're an individual watching this in yourself, you are not a robot. So again, all of this, all the best principles, all the best information, you know, at the end of the day, some point in time, you're going to have to go into the gym and pick an exercise, or pick a number of sets, or pick a split. And I want to put that all through. I've said this before, but this is the best place to start. It's not the best information. It's not the right information. It's the best place to start. And when you do that and then try and figure out your path from there, the rest is individual application, because again, you're a person, or you're coaching people. And again, you're a person even if you're a coach and working yourself. And you have to realize that, again, all this information goes through the filter of communication. All this information goes through the filter of adherence, which there's huge components of enjoyability, things that are going to have you doing this long term, hopefully months and years and decades on end. And so that's where the stem comes from me. The reason that I hopefully can be somewhat relatable with this information, this application, is I'm first and foremost a human being. Being a person, being a human, you know, understanding the emotional things that drive us are much more important than any of the nuts and bolts in training. Even next from there, I'm a meathead. I was a meathead far before I ever thought that I could even ever make a living at this. You know, since 15 years old, I've been OCD, super into this, right into the deep end. So I understand what it means to love the gym, to love to train, and have that passion just for being a meathead. So it has to go through the meathead filter. And then lastly, I can say for the past over 15 years, I've made this my profession. So I've fed my family helping people produce results, helping people put on muscle, helping people build the best version of themselves, again, from a gym and muscle standpoint. So that's the filter through all this stuff as well through, is hopefully I'm transparent and clear, that all of this is through the lens of all those people. It's again, I'm wearing different hats, again, doing a lot of different things. And hopefully as a result of that, I can relate to all of you. Again, if you're a meathead, if you've been in it for decades, if you love it, I understand. I've been there. I am there. I get it. If you're doing this for a profession, you're just starting out, I get it. I've been there. I've done that. If you're thinking about competing, if you're working with competitors, you want to make it to the highest level, I understand that. If you want to feed your family being a coach, I understand that. And that is why this education series is for you. And honestly, not being overly dramatic, I hope that coming out of this, you really, really take away something special. You take away a unique view and unique perspective. And again, it makes you love the reasons why you train in the first place even more, and makes you even less emotionally attached and even a more critical eye of understanding the nuts and bolts and the tools that we have. And again, not having any feelings one way or another towards them, but just having a better understanding of where they all fit. So welcome. Get ready for a long journey. But again, I promise you, I put a lot of time and effort. This is probably the closest thing I can say this series is to my life's work, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys and for you guys to be a part of it.